on to all of my Libras out there? How y'all doing? So let's get into it. All right, let's get into it. Shuffle it up. It's kind of a rainy day today, but so for you Libras, you have the Knight of Cups, Ten of Wands, Three of Swords, the Temperance, Five of Wands, Knight of Pentacles, Page of Swords, Two of Cups, the Moon, and last but not least, the King of Wands. All right, so what I'm seeing here for you Libras is the Knight of Cups, the Ten of Wands, the Three of Swords, right, represents how this is a situation where I'm just seeing how a lot of you Libras right now during the past Mercury retrograde, we may still be in a retrograde. I don't necessarily keep up with that type of stuff, the forecasts and all that other type of stuff, you know, as far as the planetary forecast. But I'm seeing how the Mercury retrograde really did do kind of a number on you. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I'm just seeing ultimately how, like I said, like I've been talking about, you know, honestly speaking, there's a new, okay, the Knight of Cups, the Ten of Wands, the Three of Swords, there's a new emphasis on finding somebody for you, right? That you Libras have, right? Before, maybe when you were younger, it was easier for you to interact with people because you wasn't necessarily really serious. A lot of us wasn't. I wasn't, you know. Maybe you end up breaking a lot of hearts, right? But the thing is that the Temperance and the Five of Wands is that so now the situation that you've got is the Temperance and the Five of Wands. Now that you realize that doing that, let me move this. Now that you realize that doing that is not necessarily the best thing for you to do, and you've decided to actually get a little bit more serious, that's when you realize that now that you've gotten more serious when it comes to dating others, and you're not interested in being the same way that you were when you were younger, that's when all the nonsense starts, the Five of Wands. Now that you've been more enlightened and you have more consideration for, you know, you're out here breaking people's hearts, and you realize that it's not necessarily so funny, right? And you grew up from that, because we all go through that type of stage. You know, we want to be players, and you know, we all want to do our thing. We all go through that type of stuff. We all go through that without exception. We all go through that. It's just that some of us graduate from that, some of us don't. And the thing is that the Temperance, though, is that it represents your enlightenment. So now that you've been more enlightened, you get more serious, then you have the Five of Wands. That's when the nonsense that I was talking about starts. Because it seems like now that you Libras are ready to be in a relationship and you've gotten serious over the past couple of years, now all of a sudden it seems like people are playing games with you. And for you Libras, you would have thought that people would have grown up. This is New York. You would have thought that people would have grown up and stopped playing games, you know, some odd years ago or some years ago. But at the same time, you realize that they haven't. All of this that they've done is essentially continue. All of this that, you know, you've seen when you're trying to date is just see the same type of way that you used to be when you were younger, trying to play games. But at the same time, like, and don't trip when I say that. Like I said before, everybody be out here playing games when they're young because they don't know any better. So everybody wants to kind of get their feet wet, you know, and everybody is up underneath the, you know, the delusion that they players and, you know, they're so mastermind. It's actually something that you need to grow out of. And this is what it is that a lot of people don't tell you. But so now you realize that the tables have been turned, because you realize that there's a lot of immature people out here. Very, very true. The Knight of Pentacles and the Page of Swords now represents, right, and the Two of Cups now represents that people are baiting, trying to be in a relationship. They're baiting it, right? They're Two of Cups, they're baiting it. They're really out here on some Page of Swords trying to run game and con somebody over, get someone over, especially when the person is essentially trying to offer a relationship, which is you. This is your case. You trying to offer a pentacle, which is a relationship. And then you have the Page of Swords and the Two of Cups. But you see, but a lot of people in the dating pool trying to bait other people into being in a relationship so that they can swerve them later. And what I mean when I say swerve them, sometimes it's about swerving them, right? Getting them attached and then dumping them to get them to make to feel irrelevant. Sometimes, you know, they want them to hang around them, but they're trying to parasite off of them or leech off of them to where they want them to get caught up with the idea that you know, you can't leave, you need to serve me type of mentality, and really be okay with serving the person and being like, oh, okay, cool. Now, the Knight of Pentacles, the Page of Swords, and the Two of Cups represents how it's also a situation where, you know, a lot of you Libras, this is a learning experience for you too. It always should be a learning experience. And the reason why I'm saying that is because you could sit back right now and still date, get to know people, and at the same time, really just kind of see what people are going for, because people are so easily swayed by social media, right? Because when I was coming up, right? Because I was born in '91. When I was coming up, right? You know, because you know how we're more smart, or we're smarter than what it is that people give us credit for when we're, you know, when we're young, when we're little ones. When I was coming up, first and foremost, it was you had to have a car, right? You had to look a certain kind of way, right? But the look, you had to just look like a rapper. You know, you had to have the shades. You know, there was a particular look. You had to have the shades. You had to be, you know, if you didn't have a car, it was cool, but you had to act like you were smooth though, right? That tied into the whole car thing. Then it became, you know, you don't want any scrubs. So now you got to have a real fancy looking car, right? The car got to look right, and you got to look like you smooth, right? Then I literally paid attention to how the interests of what people said that they wanted change over the years to get worse, you know, and yet more demanding. Then it, you know, then on another hand, Libra, it became, you know, now you got to look like, you got to look gangster. You got to look hard, right? When you know, when Biggie was alive, right? When Biggie was alive, it was, you got to look smooth. Then when you know, Biggie, you know, and Tupac unfortunately got what it is that they got. They made the transition. Unfortunately, what happened? Then it was DMX, right? Right? Shout outs to DMX, right? Love DMX music, by the way, right? Good actor, if you ask me. But, you know, DMX, then it was, you had to be on some gangster stuff. Then Lil Kim came out. Then it was, you had to be nasty, right? So I literally watched it. And the thing is that the moon and the King of Wands represents, I paid attention to it. It represents how a lot of people are putting all these expectations on you, and that's part of the problem. That's part of the problem, Libra. A lot of people are putting all these expectations on you. They don't really know who you are. They don't really know who you are. You Libras are trying to get to know somebody. And part of the reason why you're having these issues is because people keep trying to put all these expectations on you. They want because nowadays what's popular, right? I told you this will all make sense. Nowadays what's popular is the celebrity relationships, right? You have to be rich. You have to be a certain height. You have to look, you have to look kind of gangster, but you have to be, a certain amount of sensitive, or have a certain level of sensitivity and compassion to you, even though you also have to be ruthless and all this stuff. And it's like, you got to have the right car. You got to have the right house. You got to have the right bank account. You know what I mean? You have to have the so-called, the correct genetics and stuff like this. You just have to be conspicuously handsome. You have to be very attractive. You have to be very pretty. You got to be a dime. All this other type of stuff. You got to be nasty on top of all of that. All of these preferences is really getting people, because you're really starting to see, oh, you really bought into that anime preference. You really bought into that Cartoon Network. I can't even call it Cartoon Network. Shout outs to Cartoon Network, but you really bought into that cartoon antics, that animation, Japanese animation, anime antics, where you really think that everybody is just throwing around cash just like that or whatnot, while they swerving around in their Ferrari or something like this, or their Corvette, right? And you Libras understand what it is, that it's not about that. What is it about? Look, let me go ahead and give you your answer. What it's about, Libra, is it's ultimately about you handling your business and getting with somebody that isn't caught up in the game. If you're finding value within this reading, then it means it's time for you to come get a personal reading from me. There's a link in the comment section called the link tree. Click on it. It'll redirect you to a page which has all of my social media on it, from my Amazon, right? The books that I have on Amazon, to my Instagram page, my YouTube, to what you call it? Let me see. My clothing store, to the private readings that I have, which is my website. Thank you. Come through, and I am available for private readings today. So, yeah, let's clarify some cards. Let's clarify some cards for y'all. Let's clarify. So to clarify, let's clarify the Temperance. You have the Six of Cups, Queen of Pentacles, Five of Swords, Queen of Cups. Right. When they realized that you wasn't really searching for that, that's when they realized that they should try to get you back, because you wasn't playing the game. So the Six of Cups, this is them trying to come back. Queen of Pentacles, this is them trying to offer up some sort of, or imply that they're going to bring in some sort of value and reciprocate in this relationship. But Libra, they already had their chance in order for them to do that. They blew their chance. It's time for you Libras to bounce. And I'm glad that a lot of you Libras are starting to wake up too, realize that too. Like, if a person is not willing to reciprocate, what are they doing here? Sounds to me like they're trying to ride your coattails, or they're a little bit confused as to what's going on. Because if they're, if they're not trying to be in a relationship with you, why are they wasting their time even talking to you? Since their time is so precious, don't you think that they should go off and get to know someone that they are interested in, since since everybody is so fickle with their interests nowadays, right? So the Five of Swords and the Queen of Cups, the Five of Swords and the Queen of Cups represent, so this was after they rejected you. Look at how it is that they're not trying to come back, when they realize that you don't need them around and that you're doing well without them. Now the Page of Cups, the Queen of Cups, now they're wishing that you come back, right? Steadily trying to meditate, manifest their universe. That ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work. And if you Libras notice, you notice how it is that I make a little bit of fun of that type of mentality, because I am slightly making fun of it, you know. I'm not trying to necessarily ridicule it or ridicule anyone in particular. I'm trying to ridicule the idea that people really go out here with being socially awkward like this, and they really think this type of social awkwardness is really going to work. So let's clarify the let's clarify the Knight of Pentacles. Let's clarify the Knight of Pentacles. So to clarify the Knight of Pentacles, we have the Knight of Swords, the Two of Swords, the King of Swords, and you have the Four of Cups. So this is a situation for a lot of you where what you want to do is you ultimately want to pay attention to what you've got going on. The Knight of Swords, the Two of Swords, the King of Swords, and the Four of Cups is about how you need to understand that what you Libras have got going on is y'all have a bigger purpose than this. You ain't got time to be hanging around with people that want to waste your time. What you should have done is what it is that what you're doing now, cutting people off faster so that you don't waste so much time. The Knight of Swords, the Two of Swords, this is about how it is that a lot of you, when someone comes in, they need to be serious about trying to get to know you and not scared. The King of Swords, and the Four of Cups, don't be afraid to cut them off if that's what it is that you need to do. So that's pretty much it. Comment on the video, like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel. The overall premise of this reading is for you Libras to ultimately understand that not everybody is worth your time, right? Sometimes you're only supposed to try to speak to somebody for a few minutes. You don't really have to speak to every person for a long period of time to really get a better idea, to get your finger on if they're real and if they're not. But that's pretty much it. I'm trying to make my YouTube channel grow to 10,000 subscribers by the end of June. As of right now, we have 4,374 subscribers. Smash that subscribe button, smash that like button, hit the notification bell, set the notification bell to all so you can be notified whenever I drop these videos. Love y'all. Peace.